So, good day, ladies, gentlemen, esteemed professor and fellow students. Today, we're going to talk about Finnish education and how these affect in other countries. We want to talk in especially about Colombia. I want to introduce this topic in the Finnish education systems globally. Renowned for its exceptional quality and equality. This success is deeply rooted in Finland cultures, values on historical developments. Finnish culture places in a high value on education and lifelong learning, emphasizing the importance of knowledge and critical thinking. Additional, a strong focus on inequality and social cohesion ensures that every student, regardless of their background, has access to equality education. The trust and autonomy guaranteed to teachers allow for innovate and creative appropriate to teaching. This topic is really we have like so many things to cover it, and my classmate going to explain most of these topics. I think the one of the topics important he started with Sebastian, that he's the next in this sport. So Sebastian, good morning.
Thanks, Johann. Good day. The Finnish education systems is considered one of the best in the world because it's focused in equality, students' well-being, and the equality of teaching, rather than the competition. Unlike other countries, students have fewer hours of class, little homework, and almost no standardized tests. Yet they still achieve excellent results on the PISA exam. Um, Teachers, the next slide, please, John. Teachers are highly trained. Education is free and accessible to all. The learning is centered on creativity and critical thinking, not in memorization. All of this creates a relaxing environment where students truly enjoy learning. Now our college one will tell us a bit about the origin of this system.
Thank you, Sebastian. So the context behind the Finland education system goes back to 100 years ago in the World War II. In that period of time, after the World War II, Finland entered in a state of neutrality. They didn't intervene in the Cold War, so they focused in developing their country. They wanted and they did grow their wealth, their economical stability, and their social equality. This process was called Finlandization, and this goes from 1945 to 1991, when the Soviet Union fell. So Finland, after the Soviet Union fell, was able to enter in the Europe Union. When they did enter in the Europe Union, it was already a pretty developed country because they focus in their economical growth. They focus in creating economical relations with other countries, and in this way, they were able to create a social policies, a welfare policies that could help people, including pensions, including healthcare system, and of course, educational system. Now that we understand the educational system and the context behind it, we want to create a debate among us, among these three people, where we want to discuss how this system could be applied, or if this possibly could be applied in other countries, like by example Colombia. So I want to start giving my opinion. I consider that a system so complex that, like the Finland education system, could not be applied in a third world country like Colombia, because these countries these third world countries are really undeveloped in the economical areas. Finland has a really big economical growth. They have a really big GPD, a really big human development index. So creating a system like this requires a lot of financiation, and Colombia has not this kind of financiation. Colombia also has a underdeveloped teaching and studies in areas like mathematics. We are really behind other countries around the world a lot. So creating this system will require a lot of financiation and a total change in our educational system, and that will require years or even decades. So I think that's not possible within the short and mid term. But what do you think, huh, Johan?
Everyone, thank you for your information. I think it's really, really, really interesting. I want to add maybe some information. I think that it's really important that the teachers of education in Finland, it's really like a good point or something like that. Since the 90s, Finland has heavily invested in teachers' educations. The teachers in Finland are required to hold a master's degrees, ensuring the high quality teaching. It's important to know that the education reforms in the 60s and 70s, during that kind of period of the time, Finland implemented significant reforms in this education system. That's what you are about talking. And I think that this Finland education, it would be maybe possible in some kinds of topics, because I think maybe we need some money to cover these kinds of systems education. But the other thing that is the culture, it's very different, because in Finland they already know that the kids need to be kids and not just start to just getting have knowledge and with homeworks, or no, they try to, they have the growing in step by steps, or maybe in that kind of point.
Yeah.
I don't know, maybe it's just one, and I don't know, maybe Sebastian have another point.
Yes, I have. Thanks, Joan. And I think similar to you, in Finland, education is top because they made it a priority decades ago. They focus on equality, made a school's equality good, and turned teacher into highlight training and respect and the professionals. There's no overload of uses exams, and students are not pressure, but they still learn because the system teach them to team and not just memorize. In Colombia, it's a different story. If you, for example, if you're born in the countryside, getting a good education is almost impossible. Schools have a broken roof, there aren't notebooks, and sometimes there aren't even teachers. Um, and the teachers, they're overworked and underpaid. Um, Here, the education is not about learning, it's about memorizing and passing tests that don't prepare us for the life. Um, every this other thing is the government. Every new government changes everything without fixing anything. Um, in the case of Finland, Finland go to the top because they believe in education. Colombia is still far behind because it never truly has. Um, I don't know if you want to tell another thing.
Um, okay, I think this is a really huge topic, because education is something to everyone. But I don't know if maybe Juan or Sebastian have more to add to improve it here. But
Oh, yeah.
yes.
Yeah, sorry. Well, what you say was really interesting, and you are right about. I want to focus on two things you would say, and that's the teachers. The teachers here in Colombia are really in a low level in the terms of formal education. As you said, in Finland, they need a master degree in order to educate, even the primary teachers. So that's a really big difference. And if you don't have good teachers in your country, you don't have good students. That's a fact. Also, I want to say that here in Colombia, we have a weird culture of have 6 hours classes that goes from 6 a.m. to 12 a.m., 12 p.m. And that's really weird because nowhere else in the world, the students and the kids need to wake up at the 5 a.m. in order to go to their schools. And that's really, that's really weird and that needs to change in order to achieve the Finland educational system. But I don't know what do you think if you want to give um, another opinion.
Um, we don't have enough time for this moment, but I wanted to say thank you to everyone to keep our points in this topic. And thank you so much, classmates, for paying attention in this class. So thank you for everyone, and
Thank you too.
that's all. And that's all.